this is a model that I haven't invented personally. It was one that came into existence, I think, back in the 1960s by a couple of guys called Joseph Luft and Harry Ingram. All right, they ended up calling this the Johari Window, the Johari Window of personal insight, which essentially gives us today a basis for self-awareness and all personal growth. Now, this is a model that hasn't always been used in the personal development world. Historically, in the past, this model would be used by maybe business coaches as they were kind of working with organizations to help scale them up or something like this. So a business coach would ask perhaps a senior executive team, right, okay, so let's have a look at your current arena. What do you and other people know about your business? What about your company's blind spots? What do other people perhaps see, but you might not see about your business? Because this, essentially might be risk that could stand to undermine you at some point in the future. How about your facade? What areas of your business do you make out to be delivering more than what you are? And then let us think about what we're just not aware of at all. What don't you know that you really would benefit from knowing? So all I'm doing really here is I'm putting a model around some of the ideas that I've already shared, all right, to hopefully pull them all together for you so you can understand them. I want you to understand yourself. So that model, we're not relating to business, I'm going to relate to you instead, if that's okay. So we called it, so the question is, why is it called the Johari Window? Well, Joseph Luft and Harry Ingram, they couldn't figure out what to call this model. So they took half of Joe's name and half of Harry's, Johari Window, and that was it, because it kind of looks like a window. So the question is, right, how is it that you start to develop a slightly better and healthier relationship with yourself? Because if you are struggling with low confidence and low self-esteem, that is not a healthy relationship to have with one's self, by the way. All right, so let us see if together we can improve this. Is that so? And come on, I'm here to help you on the journey. I've got a pretty darn good relationship with me, all right, which means I do know what I'm talking about. So let us just see if we can identify the opportunity that you have for growth in a few different areas. Because there's your arena, all right? Your arena is just simply how you see yourself. It's your actual self. It's the decisions that you've made about yourself up until today. It's what you and other people know about you. There's this part of you, there's an aspect of you that you're fully aware of and that other people are also fully aware of. It's in the public domain, you out there in the public domain. But then we have your facade, right? The facade generally is stronger in those, or more prominent in those, who are more insecure. So insecure people have a tendency of putting on a greater facade, right? Think about the school bully. Think about that intimidating manager in the workplace. Think about that complete phony on social media, on Instagram, who's puckering up, wanting to get another 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 likes. Why? To boost their confidence. Why do people make themselves out to be something that they're not? There's one question we could ask. The second question, why would anyone who's secure in themselves ever need to be seen as someone or something other than who they are? That's question number 2. Right? So what does a bully try to do? The bully tries to put on his tough exterior. So what is a tough exterior? It's a defense mechanism, right? To cover up what? Insecurity and hurt. Now, when I left the military, it took me a couple of years to sort my life out. I got into studying counselling and coaching and psychology, applied psychology, for the purpose of understanding myself, all right? I needed to. Honestly, I did not get any of this stuff. So the more that I grew to understand myself, the more I could see where my facade was coming from, and the more I could actually relate to other people. So a lot of guys that I'd spent years with, I used to put on kind of, personal development, goal setting workshops and confidence events and all that kind of thing for ex-soldiers, men and women, right? Big tough guys and girls who, given a couple of hours in a room with me, they're all like crying, oh, my life's a mess. And when we lose the facade, we can get to the heart of people. The problem is the facade kind of puts up this tough exterior that people can't see through. When we put up this facade, we're not letting people see who we actually are. The schoolyard bully, the manipulative manager, who's only in position because he or she needs to be in control. He or she needs to be in desperate control of other people because he or she does not have control of his or her own life. All right, you can see that, you can always see in people, how it is that they conduct themselves publicly is representative of how it is that they relate to themselves privately. Right? And the same will be true for you, I guarantee it. How it is that you conduct and present yourself publicly will be in response to how it is that you identify and define yourself privately, for better or for worse. Right? If you are insecure in who you are, if there's a question mark over your head about who you actually are, of course when you step out that door you're going to be, I've got it all together, look at me, I'm fantastic, like me, love me, send me flowers, so on. Send me flowers? What? It's a facade, all right? The problem with the facade is a lot of people put on this facade hoping to win the respect or adoration or fear of other people, and they end up working against themselves, because what they actually want is to be understood and liked and loved. The problem is, if you are guilty of putting on a facade, even if people buy into this facade, the problem is they're not buying into you because you're not giving them a chance to get to know you. They can't see it because what's getting in the way is the facade, all right, which is a defense mechanism that we put in place to protect ourselves. Why? Because on some level we're not quite sure if we are okay enough to be accepted by other people. It's the root of all low confidence and self-esteem. That question mark over our heads, am I enough? That's it. This is all that we're working with here. Right? I promise you, this doesn't have to be a hard thing for you to overcome. Low confidence might have been with you for years, but I promise you, if you're willing to change your mind about yourself in a couple of areas, right, this can go away imminently, but you've got to do the hard work. So we have blind spots, and this is why guys like me come along, right, to fill in a few voids for you, to give you a few of those aha moments. There's parts of us that are unknown to ourselves that can then become completely, that they can be known to others. Right, so I'm aware of myself. I've worked with thousands of people over the years. I've trained hundreds of thousands of people over the years, right? Which means that I've identified a few trends when it comes to the human experience. I know what I'm talking about. There's what others see, but there's what you don't yet see. So I'm not here to give you dry information, all right? Here's some information, here's a PowerPoint, remember this, and go and go and love yourself. No, I'm not doing that, am I? What am I doing? I'm sharing my own story. I'm sharing some of my experience. I'm intentionally taking time to unpack ideas so I can say exactly what I mean what I say. I want to help you to understand yourself. I would be a completely ignorant or a compassionless teacher to be otherwise. Right? There's a pretty good chance you've experienced one or two of those. Right, so blind spots. There's some parts of you that other people will see that you can't see. Which leads us to this kind of bottom stage of our awareness, complete unawareness. There's what you don't know, and the thing is you don't know what you don't know. All right, and if you have down there beliefs, worldviews, ideologies, philosophies about what's right, what's wrong, how life should be, how you should be, how other people should be, this is ultimately what gives birth to your degree and depth of criticism. When you are critical of a person or a product or a thing, it's only because it's not conforming to your worldviews and how you think it should be. We don't know what we don't know. We can't see what we can't see. Right? I've got parts of me that I'm not even aware of. Sometimes I lose my temper. Right? I do. Sometimes people will look at me or say something and I'll be fine 1 minute. Not like in a really sporadic, unstable, inconsistent way. But I have my moments, all right? As I'm sure you do, as all people do. Right, any guru who says they've got it all together is full of absolute nonsense. In Scotland, we refer to that as dribble. I was about to say BS, but some people don't like swear words or cussing, so I ain't going to cuss. I'm going to say dribble instead, because that's quite amicable and palatable, isn't it? Most people know what they know about themselves and define themselves by this. And it's this level of crystallized thinking that leads people to put themselves in a box, to undermine themselves, which is then what gives birth to low confidence and low self-esteem, especially when people define themselves in an undermining or a restricted or a limited way.